Hello everyone, Johnny Thunder EAS&Weather here with your day one fire weather outlook. We have a very nasty risk for wildfires today out west, so let's get right to it. So first off, we have an extreme fire weather area today that encompasses east central Nevada, northwestern Arizona, and most of Utah. Cities in the extreme fire weather area today include St. George, Utah, Spanish Fork, Utah, Cedar City, Utah, Payson, Utah, and Washington, Utah. We have a critical fire weather area today that encompasses a tiny bit of southeastern California, north central and west central Arizona, parts of Nevada, parts of Utah, the very far extreme northwestern corner of New Mexico, western Colorado, and southwestern Wyoming. Cities in the critical fire weather area today include Las Vegas, Nevada, Henderson, Nevada, Paradise, Nevada, Sunrise Manor, Nevada, and Salt Lake City, Utah. We have an elevated fire weather area today that encompasses southeastern California, parts of Nevada, northwestern Utah, southeastern Idaho, parts of Wyoming, parts of Colorado, western New Mexico, and most of Arizona for the elevated. And finally, you'll notice there's a brown outline here. The brown outline is where we have the highest potential for dry thunderstorms today in the brown outline. So the brown is the highest potential for isolated dry thunderstorms today. Dry thunderstorms are thunderstorms that occur without any form of precipitation because the air is so dry that the precipitation evaporates before reaching the ground. So as a result, you're just left with thunder and lightning in a dry thunderstorm, okay? And if that happens, if lightning hits the ground, a fire can start and spread quickly. That's the whole concept of a dry thunderstorm. So, yeah. So, I'm going to read the synopsis. So, dangerous fire weather conditions are forecast across portions of the Great Basin and Southwest today as a robust fire weather pattern begins for an expansive portion of the Intermountain West. This pattern will bring exceptionally dry and windy conditions following antecedent dry thunderstorm activity over the past 1 to 2 days, resulting in significant fire weather concerns for any new ignitions, lingering holdovers, and ongoing large fires across the western CONUS. Northwestern Arizona and far southwestern Nevada into central Utah. A seasonably strong mid-level trough will dig into the western CONUS today, with an attendant mid-level jet overspreading portions of the Great Basin as upper-level ridging amplifies over the Great Plains. This will promote a deepening surface cyclone over the northern Great Basin, which will subsequently support a strong surface pressure gradient across much of the Intermountain West when combined with surface high pressure over New Mexico. Latest high-rise guidance continues to depict a corridor of strong southwesterly winds, sustained 25 to 35 miles per hour, developing amid very low relative humidity values of 5 to 15% from far southeastern Nevada and northwestern Arizona into central Utah. With very dry and receptive fields across this region, ERCs in the 80 to 90 plus percentiles, and ongoing large wildfire activity, these conditions will yield an extremely critical fire weather threat across this region. Deep boundary layer mixing, coupled with the aforementioned mid-level jet, will also support wind gusts to 45 miles per hour. A more expansive area of elevated critical fire weather concerns is expected across adjacent areas of the Great Basin, where modestly weaker sustained surface winds, generally 15 to 25 miles per hour, are forecast to overlap very low relative humidity values of 5 to 20%. An extended period of critical wind and relative humidity conditions, perhaps 10 plus hours for some locations, poor overnight humidity recoveries, and residual gusty winds are forecast. Only minor adjustments were made to the drawn areas with this update to reflect the latest available guidance, and minor trimming was done to the northeastern extent of the elevated highlights in central Wyoming to account for heavier rainfall on Thursday. Colorado Plateau. Increasing mid-level flow and ascent ahead of the approaching mid-level trough, coupled with dry boundary layer profiles and P-watt values of 0.5 to 0.8 inches will support the potential for isolated dry thunderstorms this afternoon from northwestern New Mexico into much of western Colorado. While storm motions are anticipated to be generally 20 to 30 plus knots, pockets of heavier rainfall totals are possible, especially across northwestern New Mexico and southwestern Colorado, where the latest guidance suggests P-watt content and storm coverage may be locally greater. Thus, a mix of wet and dry thunderstorms is likely. Pockets of lingering receptive fuels, ERCs in the 80 to 90 plus percentile, will continue to be receptive to lightning ignitions. However, and concerns regarding any lightning ignitions increases multiple days of critical fire weather conditions are expected this weekend. So, yeah. So I'm going to read this up here too, excuse me. So, it says here for northwestern Arizona and far southwestern Nevada into central Utah, the forecast remains on track for hazardous weather conditions conducive to rapid spread and fire growth on existing wildfires and new ignitions. Surface observations already depict expansive single-digit relative humidity values with wind gusts exceeding 30 miles per hour. ERCs are at or above the 90th percentile, and fuels have proven to be receptive as several large wildfires reported to have extreme fire behavior are ongoing across the region. At peak heating, sustained southwesterly surface winds will increase to 25 to 35 miles per hour amid 5 to 12% relative humidity values. An extended burning period is expected 10 plus hours for some locations, as poor overnight humidity recoveries and residual gusty winds, will lead into a second day of dangerous fire weather conditions. See the Day 2 fire weather outlook. So, that's your Day 1 fire weather outlook. Stay safe and vigilant in these areas today. Stay safe and vigilant in all these areas today, especially in the critical and the extreme fire weather conditions. I am praying for you guys in those areas. If I were you, I would highly urge you to gather supplies immediately, such as food, water, clothing, toiletries, medical supplies, a flashlight, a cell phone, phone chargers, extra batteries, and a battery-powered radio in the event they need to evacuate on a moment's notice, because fire can start and spread quickly, especially in these conditions, especially in the extreme and the critical fire weather risk areas, but also in the dry thunderstorm and elevated areas. You are urged to put off outdoor burning. Please avoid outdoor burning in these areas today, because all it takes is one little spark for a fire to start and spread quickly. And do not throw cigarettes on the ground. Do not throw cigarettes on the ground, even if they're not lit. Because one, that's littering, which is illegal and unsafe, and you could face legal penalties should you get caught. And two, all it takes is one little spark for a fire to start and spread quickly, and make sure your cigarette is fully out before throwing it away. So, stay safe in these areas today, especially in the extreme and the critical, because these areas are in for extreme fire weather conditions. So, I'm praying for you guys in these areas. So, stay safe today, and I will have my Day 1 severe weather outlook very soon. Take care.